You know what? Sometimes life is really, really stranger than fiction.
I don't wear masks like him. Every time you see him, he's got a mask. He could be speaking 200 feet away from it. He shows up with the biggest mask I've ever seen.
Welcome back to SouFLoTV again, everybody. It is your host with the most. Listen, shout out to the people who actually tuned me into this morning. Says Donald Trump has tested positive for the coronavirus. Now, a lot of things could be going on here. There are some people that are saying, SouFlo, he realized that he was losing the election, so this is one way to stall time and also to gain sympathy, right? But, of course, the others won't let him have it because he's the same person who's been saying he is not wearing no masks and is saying it's not that serious and all this other stuff, and now he has the coronavirus.
I don't wear masks like him. Every time you see him, he's got a mask. He could be speaking 200 feet away from it. He shows up with the biggest mask I've ever seen.
I am taking it straight from New York Times. And you know, New York Times would be liable for a hell of a lawsuit if they were to release information saying that the president is tested positive for coronavirus when in fact he has not. So I am guessing that this is a news entity that we can rely on at least to say, yes, he has tested positive. Besides, I saw his Twitter link. And on his Twitter link, he himself gave a message out concerning and has admitted to him and the First Lady testing positive. Anyhow, the president results came back after he spent months playing down the severity of the outbreak that has killed more than 207,000 people in the United States of America alone, and hours after he had just insisted that the end of the pandemic is in sight. President Trump revealed early Friday morning that he and the First Lady, Melania Trump, that is this morning, Friday morning, him and Melania Trump had tested positive for the coronavirus, throwing the nation's leadership into uncertainty and escalating the crisis posed by the pandemic that has already killed over 207,000 Americans and devastated the economy. Mr. Trump, who for months has played down the seriousness of the virus and hours earlier on Thursday night, told an audience that the end of the pandemic is in sight, will quarantine in the White House for an unspecified period of time, forcing him to withdraw at least temporarily from the campaign trail only 32 days before the election, which is on November 3rd. The dramatic disclosure came in a Twitter message just before 1 a.m. after a suspenseful evening following reports that Mr. Trump's close advisor, Hope Hicks, had first tested positive. Now, in her own tweet, about 30 minutes later after that came out, Mrs. Trump wrote that the first couple were feeling good. We are feeling good, she said. Right? Let me grab this phone real quick. I'm using it to prop my camera up. And here we go. Let's get right back to it. Okay, so Melania Trump herself tweeted that the first couple is feeling good. Quote unquote, the first couple is feeling good. This is within 30 minutes of the results for Mr. Trump's close advisor. The result for that close advisor, Hope Hicks, positive result, hit the airwaves. And everybody was saying, well, damn, if that's his close advisor and they have tested positive, then maybe the first couple is positive as well. Within 30 minutes, Melania Trump, which is Donald Trump's wife, the First Lady, tweeted to say that they were feeling fine. But the White House did not say whether they were experiencing symptoms or not. The president's physician said that he could carry on his duties without disruption from the executive mansion. Tonight, This is his tweet. Tonight at FLOTUS, he tagged the First Lady of the U.S. is what FLOTUS means. And I tested positive. FLOTUS and I tested positive for COVID-19. This is what Mr. Trump tweeted. We will begin our quarantine and recovery process immediately. We will get through this together. Mr. Trump's positive test results posed immediate challenges for the future of his campaign against former Vice President Joe Biden, the Democratic nominee. With barely a month until Election Day, Trump, who is 74 years old, remains asymptomatic at this time. He will lose much of his remaining time on the campaign trail because, of course, he's going to have to be quarantined. If he becomes sick, it could raise questions about whether he should even remain on the ballot at all. Will there be an election? Depends on how sick he gets, right? But that's what a vice president is for, isn't it? Or is the vice president only there for if the president dies, but not if he is ill? Because if he is ill, then things might have to just wait until he gets better. The White House did not say how long Mr. Trump would have to remain isolated, but it canceled his plans to fly out to Florida for a campaign rally that was supposed to be Friday, which is today, stripping his public schedule for the day of everything except a midday telephone call on COVID-19 support for vulnerable seniors, he is a senior, and I don't know if he has any underlying issues, but of course, now tested positive. Appearances at rallies in Wisconsin on Saturday, which would be tomorrow, and in Arizona on Monday, which would be the day after that, Sunday, then Monday, also appear sure to be scrapped, canceled. And the next debate, which was scheduled for October 15th in Miami, was left up in the air. Is he even going to participate in the next debate? Some people are saying this could even be a plot to get him to lock in and focus and have his team there with him to get him prepared for a proper debate. Yes, he came off like a strong person in the first debate, but a lot of people are saying that he came off egotistical, arrogant, disrespectful, and like a grown child that was throwing a tantrum. I mean, he moderated the moderator if you watch the debate. And I watched it from beginning to end. You understand? So either they're going to get a new moderator or Trump's team is going to have to get on him. Either way, his base that likes him so much, they don't care about if he only paid $750 on a $100 million salary and taxes for how many years. They don't care about anything that has to do with Russia. They don't care about anything that has to do with him seeming guilty or untrue in any way. They definitely don't care. So they're going to vote for him regardless. That is what I have seen so far. But with his health now in question, the question is, will the election be postponed? Or another question is this someone who sees that he is about to lose and his team is pulling every rabbit out the hat to stall for time or to win, how would you say it? To win over people's, emotions. Oh man, he's a regular person. I wouldn't want that to happen to anybody else. He has COVID. Oh gosh, I pray for him. I hope he gets better. Or I've heard one person say, this could even be something to speed up the distribution of this vaccination that he has promised will be available sooner than later. Now, during late night conversation, aides to Mr. Trump were discussing whether he should give an address to the nation on Friday, which is today, from the White House, or find some other way for him to reassure the public that it's going to be all right. But the aides were still in a state of shock as they absorbed the news and there was no immediate word on how far the infection may have spread among his team, among senior White House officials who generally do not wear masks in the presence of the president because of his disdain for the mask. The president and first lady are both well at this time, and they plan to remain at home within the White House during their convalescence leaves. Dr. Sean P. Conley, the White House physician, said in a statement, and he added that, rest assured, I expect the president to continue carrying out his duties without disruption while recovering, and I will keep you updated on any future developments. Other sides to the president would not say whether he was experiencing symptoms or not, but people at the White House noticed that his voice had become extra raspy, and they knew that, well, for him, it could be that he had done so many rallies and speaking events recently that it was affecting his throat. They would go to anything other than to say, go get your health checked, because it could be COVID. And the fact that you hate masks so much and you don't wear them more than half the time, then could very well be that, sir, you are testing positive for the COVID virus. Go get yourself checked. Now, even if Trump does not become seriously ill, this positive test could prove a devastating to his political fortunes, given that it's only months away, or it's only a couple of weeks away from this whole election thing playing out. He needs to be on the road. He needs to be drumming up support, speaking, being heard, all this other stuff. For months, Donald Trump had refused to wear a mask in public on all but a few occasions, and he has repeatedly questioned the effectiveness of the mask. And as recently as Tuesday, at their ongoing debate, which was the first debate, he even mocked Joe Biden about wearing a mask. Remember when he says, I don't wear a mask like him. Remember that? His voice, when he says, every time you see him, he's got on a mask. And he went on to say, the biggest mask you've ever seen, and all this other stuff, right? And now look. So it's not immediately clear whether Donald Trump might have been infected by the virus at the time of the debate with Mr. Biden, who is 77, only 2 years older than Donald Trump, although the two stood far across the stage from each other and never got within 6 feet of each other. People are still concerned. We are going to keep our eyes peeled on this one. And here's another reason why they're saying that people should not be going out in the hundreds of thousands to vote. Use that mail-in ballot. For those of you who are not informed properly about the mail-in ballot, it has been around for a long time. And there are states where it is used as the only means to vote. There are people who live far away from polling stations and they are still American citizens who have the right to vote. So they created the mail-in ballot so that they can vote. They even modified the mail-in ballot later on by implementing stuff like early voting and all that, because if you're voting by mail, it's going to take slow mail time to get there, to be sorted, to be counted, right? So that is what that is about. I'm going to keep my eyes on this one and see where it goes. Sometimes life is definitely stranger than fiction. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Leave your conspiracy theories in the comment section below. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll meet you there. It's SouFLoTV. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next video. I'm out. Peace.
Coronavirus! I'm telling you, shit is real!
I don't wear masks like him. Every time you see him, he's got a mask. He could be speaking 200 feet away from me. He shows up with the biggest mask I've ever seen.